Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gregtech New Horizons, where today we're going to be visiting Venus. We've got a lot of crafting before we can get there, as usual. So to help us with this, we have accumulated some loot bags here. Let's start with the LuV. Enderium fluid pipe and tier 2 alloy. This is going to help us in the rocket, nice. Alright, now for all the IV ones. Oh wow, look at this. Oh nice, 2 more ender tanks, 2 more ender chests. Could have been a bit better, but honestly, not a bad start to this episode. You know what, we have 2 Space Invaders bags, maybe this will help us in our space missions. Not really. Alright, that's enough fooling around, let's get on to crafting this rocket. So we're going to need the next tier of heavy plating. To make the next tier of heavy plating, we need to put our assembly line to use, which we fully automated in the last episode. This was the reason we couldn't get to tier 4 earlier on. You guys may remember that we also need our Implosion Compressor, which if I remember correctly is actually still at our old base here. I haven't been here for a while. Yeah, this guy right here, we're going to need to use this. So to run the Implosion Compressor, you may remember we need some sort of explosive, so I have set up iTNT production again. It may look like a spaghetti of conduits, and I'm not gonna lie, it pretty much is, but we can cover it all up. So this takes our nitric acid and sulfuric acid. A couple of episodes back, we set up this LCR for nitric acid as part of the, I think this is iridium line? No, osmium I think this makes. Wait a second, no, this is ruthenium. This makes ruthenium. So we buffer the nitric acid here, and we send this through fluid P2P. And the sulfuric acid we've always been making right here. We need to keep an eye on these levels though, as this does actually use quite a bit of sulfuric acid. So those 2 items go in here and mix together to make nitration mixture, which then combines with toluene. And toluene we are fluid solidifying right here into the gel toluene. And toluene actually is something we've been avoiding for quite a while, which was probably a mistake. I just didn't think to upgrade the tanks here, but toluene we make out of the output of this distillation tower. I think this is the only place we produce this. So in fact, rather than void it anymore, even though we're going to be using it now, I'm going to upgrade this tank to the Super Tank 4. Okay, we do have to put this toluene back. And we got the massive debuff. Apparently Terrawart works though to clear this. Aha! And I guess why not, let's use an LuV pump to transfer this. Oh, look at the transfer rate on that, that's awesome. Expensive, but awesome. Yeah, we definitely want to get this back. Oh nice, an achievement. So yeah, back over here at the Implosion Compressor, I have also included a level limiter here. We are sending all the output of the iTNT back into an interface down there, which also includes all of our patterns, or will include all of the patterns for the Implosion Compressor. And the level limiter will only allow this chemical reactor to turn on if we are below 1024 industrial TNT. I was going to let it run more or less infinitely, but then I realised we actually use toluene in high octane gasoline. And while we do have a full super tank of this, I don't really fancy running out of this. So I think we'll just make the TNT, and maybe we have to increase the buffer, but at least we have some way to limit this. So taking a look at the tier 4 rocket, which is how we're going to get to Venus. Oh, I remember all these components, or at least most of them. Yeah, the nose cone, this was a pain before autocrafting, but we should be able to manage this now. It's just a matter of encoding some recipes. Oh yeah, the engines as well. Yeah, we can do all this with recipes now in AE2. That being said though, I think this is the day we upgrade our applied energistics autocrafting capabilities again. We'll get back to AE2 upgrades a little bit later on, but first of all, we have to upgrade these bending machines. And I think our best solution is to do the GT++ Industrial Material Press. And I think we're going to pick up 2 of these things while we're crafting them. One we can use as a bending machine and the other one as a forming press, which should mean we can replace all of these machines on this back wall here. Plus the multi-blocks are much easier to overclock. You know, I didn't check the recipe of the casing though. This is titanium plates, tumbega and tantalloy 60, which is, oh, this is a lot of tantalum. Luckily we found that vein last episode for our new miner. And tumbega we are out of as well. Yeah, tumbega has to be on circuit 12, which is a very weird mixer circuit number, and not something that we have set up either, so I think maybe we should also look at the mixer. I've been meaning to pick this up since we need a lot of mixing recipes. I wonder how expensive this is. You know what, I think we also need the cutting machine as well. These diamond plates, I feel like we're always waiting on these things. 384 seconds as a base recipe? Yeah, can we get the cutting machine as well? The cutting factory. We need 1 more capacity card in our rod maker here for the extruder. And you know, I'm actually not sure the best way to go about automating this alloy blast smelter, since almost all of the recipes take different circuit numbers, and you're limited to the amount of input buses you can have on this thing. So I think it pretty much means that we have to spam these things, and they'll almost certainly get moved from where they are. I think we need we need the rods here. Tantalloy 60, yes, this is what we're after. So as for placements, I think we're going to put them maybe on this side. Yeah, I think this is a good spot for them. I think we'll probably have to add another P2P here, but that's easy to do. Alright, we got the two material presses set up here, one for the bending machine, one for the forming press. I just got done transferring all the patterns, and then I hit F9. And we're right on the chunk boundary. Oh boy. Exact same thing happened here with the Implosion Compressor. I used to have the single blocks on this side of the machine, and the compressor was also on this chunk boundary, so I actually rebuilt this 3 times. And it looks like I'm going to be rebuilding these as well. Hold on a second. Alright, this is looking much better. With the addition of the 2 extra machines that we wanted to get, the cutting machine and also the mixer, which do look kind of funny. I don't know if I'm a big fan of these things. I do like what they can do though. I did briefly test this out. But yeah, first of all, the bending machine and the forming press. I have now transferred all of the patterns that we used to have in all the single blocks, as well as adding some new functionality to some of these things. I don't think we were able to do double plates before. We got the triple plates, which we're going to be using today for our rocket. As for the mixer here, we are adding some additional fluid inputs to this as well. I believe we need oxygen for yttrium barium cuprate, and we need water for one of the applied energistics recipes. And also for the mixer, we have circuit 1 and 2 in here for now. So we got the bending machines running at EV, the mixer running at IV, and the cutting machine also running at IV. Oh no, we're out of channels here. Wait, are we really out of channels? No, we should have channels here. I think it's just AE being weird. There is still that bug in the game. So yeah, for this mixer, we actually had a mixer already, which I borrowed and crafted the multi-block with. And it's a similar story here for the cutting factory. We took our cutting machine out of the clean room, actually. And over here, we are able to transfer all of the wafers over, which was one of the secondary bottlenecks that we have when crafting circuits. We're also giving it lubricant with this fluid P2P, which apparently is still missing a device. We are slowly filling out our array of GT++ multi-blocks. Wonder if we could get the extrusion machine. No, that's enough for today. We need to get on, we need to get to Venus. So it's actually been several hours for me now, and let me show you what all has changed around this base. We have the last blast furnace addition on this array. This is another on-demand process for things like conductive iron, black steel, tungstic acid, and pulsating iron. All things that are really quick to smelt. Over here at this oil cracker for severely steam-cracked heavy fuel, I also replaced the simple solar boiler which used to give us steam, and that is now being produced by an advanced fluid heater. And we're now bottlenecked on the amount of heavy fuel we produce, which is the state we want this to be in. Some of these machines over here have been upgraded just to increase their speed. This is for biochaff, which makes fermented biomass, and this is also another source of methane for hydrogen. As I mentioned previously, I've also added some more molecular assemblers and interfaces to handle some more of the rocket patterns, which I have in fact already been encoding. 1 or 2 are missing, but we're going to get onto that in a second. And we're also joined by a new friend in our base, who has been here for, I don't know, like a day by now. Check this guy out. I don't know if we'll get to see him in there. Yep, there he is. We got an Enderman inside a Tinker Smeltery who is constantly melting down and producing his Ender Pearls. Yeah, you can see right here all the fluids are being circled around in the smeltery, some of which is liquid Ender, which then goes into these casting tables back here, and the rest, the molten iron, then gets cycled back into the smeltery to damage the Enderman, who is a regenerating Enderman, so he will always stay alive in there. A very simple setup, which took me way too long to figure out, honestly. We're going to need a lot of pearls coming up here in the future, so I thought I would preemptively set that thing up. Okay, so for this rocket crafting, I think I'm more or less prepared here. I did spend a few hours, like I mentioned, encoding all the recipes. I noticed here in the tier 4 plating quest, it calls for osmiridium bolts, even though the recipe uses ruridite bolts. And we don't have any osmiridium, which is a big problem. So 52 bolts is going to equal, I think, just 7 ingots of osmiridium. And this we can just put through our IV on-demand blast furnace here, which apparently is still busy doing something. I'm not sure exactly what this is smelling. Or maybe not. Oh, looks like this, yeah, this takes helium. Are we not giving this thing helium? No, this is nitrogen and, oh no, this is helium. Oh, this is 30,000 EU per tick. Yeah, this is an LuV recipe. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop this blast furnace. We're gonna take its energy hatch, and there's a second input bus on the back of this one, which we'll have to go for now, along with the interface. We'll plug the second IV hatch into this first blast furnace. And this guy's going to need its own 1x cable, since it can only handle 1 amp through here, or 2 amps through here. How does it work? Oh yeah, 75 seconds per ingot. That's not too bad. So while we're waiting on all the osmiridium, we can completely ignore the use for osmiridium and focus on the assembly line process pattern, which is going to look something like this. You may notice this new ingot here, compressed ice plates. Put this pattern inside the assembly line, and these compressed ice plates actually come from an assembler recipe with Ledix and Callisto ice. Both of these two dusts come from Europa and also Callisto, and our miners have been there a few times. In fact, I think they're there right now. So we're up to 16,000 Ledix and 7,000 Callisto ice. These things, fortunately, are only a smelting recipe, not a blast furnace, which is surprising. So we'll add processing patterns for both of these ingots. These will go in our multi-smelter, 64 at a time. I keep forgetting to upgrade this multi-block as well. And to make them into the compressed ice platings, we need to make them triple platings. 2 more processing patterns for these. And these things are going to go into our new bending machine. This one right here, on circuit number 3, which is actually filled up, so we need another pattern capacity card. So that will handle the triple plates. And to make them into the compressed, they have to go through the Implosion Compressor, along with iTNT, which I have adjusted the buffer for. We're up to 7.7 thousand. So that was the Callisto, this one is the Ledix. This Implosion Compressor is filled up really fast as well. Look at all the compressed platings. Okay, just to double check, this is also an LuV recipe, which we can handle in the assembly line. Let's make sure we pick up the prerequisites for the quest. So we need 13 of the tier 3 platings. We should be able to autocraft these now. Very good. Oh, that's right, mine is the heavy duty alloy, which is the assembler recipe with a unique fluid. And these alloys we don't need like lots and lots of, so we're just going to do this step manually, honestly, and just batch craft these. Although this does have to be in an IV assembling machine. Oh, that's right, which still has the Quantum Star and HSSS, which is a project we're going to handle in a second. We're going to get back to this one, but for heavy duty alloy we need molten platinum, the Desh plates, and the heavy duty plates. So to make the compressed ice plates to put the Ledix and Callisto together, we also need IC2 coolant. Since this is another rocket part, we are just going to do this step manually again, and since we have this free mixer, I think this is circuit 4 if I remember correctly. Yeah, we're just going to batch a whole lot of this IC2 coolant. Looks like the osmiridium is also finished, so let's pick up the 52 useless osmiridium bolts. Apparently this is going to get changed, but I don't know. We're just going to go with what the quest asks for right now. And I guess I'll also fix this blast furnace here. So we need 39 of the Callisto ice and Ledix plates. We'll call it 40 of each, which really isn't too bad. We went way overkill with the amount of Ledix and Callisto ice we have. Okay, hopefully this assembly line automation works out. Let's order our 13 heavy duty alloy tier 4s. The fact that this thing isn't starting isn't filling me with a whole lot of confidence yet. And we do have items in there, so either the recipe is wrong or I'm missing something. Oh yeah, with this setup you can also add a terminal to the subnet, and this shows you exactly what's in your assembly line without having to go into each individual input bus. But this recipe looks correct, honestly. Oh, actually, you know what it is? It's actually stacked the compressed ice plates here. We need them in 2 separate input buses as 3 each. I'm not sure if there's a way to get around that with this particular setup. Yeah, now it's crafting. Yeah, that is what the issue was. Okay, well, again, this is a rocket part, so I don't mind doing this for, what is it, the 13 plates that we need? Not a big deal, honestly. In fact, just for this specific case, we could probably take off blocking mode so that it sends all the items. And then we can split them up that way. Yeah, that works much better. Oh, we almost fell for it again. We didn't hold the compressed ice plates for the quest. Oh, that was close. Luckily, they're quite cheap. We can make some more. Awesome, this should be our quest. Yeah, that opens up our quest for the control computer, although I noticed this needs to be IV in a clean room. So we're going to borrow our assembling machine. Let's actually just double check the voltages here. Yeah, IV, platinum cable. I think we're good. We need some solder and alloy, which we can borrow from the circuit assembler. And we're off, 30 seconds. And it looks like the extra heavy plating was accounted for. We only need 12 for the rocket, and we have exactly 12 left, so that's really nice. There is our next quest though. And this guy's going to go back to where he lives. Oh, and it's not going to let us jump straight to the rocket here. It actually wants us to craft the armor, which I knew was coming up, but I guess we're doing this now. We need an extra spacesuit for our mission to Venus. I think I recognize everything here. We can do lead. Although there is this duralium. No, I'm saying that wrong. Duralumin? I don't know. How do we get this thing though? I have no idea. Okay, it looks like it's a mixer recipe. Yeah, mixer and then, what, blast furnace? Since this is circuit 3, we'll have to add a new input bus to our mixer. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure how many circuit 3 and mixer recipes we actually use, so this may get changed. Assuming we have some channels over here. Don't forget to name the interface as well. Always name your interfaces. I've made the mistake in previous packs of not naming interfaces, and that caused a massive headache. So for here, we name everything. Alright, we got our spacesuit. There is a few upgrades I'd like to make to this thing though. I think we're looking pretty swell. Ready for Venus. So there is 2 upgrade paths for this. We can also make an electric jetpack to put on this thing so that we can have flight while we're there. And we can also add some magnesium plates to the bottom so that presumably we are not affected by gravity. So yeah, I think I will go ahead and craft the extra electric jetpack, which was very, very tedious the first time, but shouldn't be too... oh no, overclockers. Shouldn't be too bad this time. I think it's going to be worth it. Alright, after a bit of crafting, this should be the last of the components for the jetpack. We just need our 2 engine boosters. Always missing something. We're some advanced alloy short, but I have been encoding recipes for everything. Also, there's another jetpack, which took significantly less time than the first time. I know that you can actually get one of these out of a loot bag as well. I'm not sure which one. Once we add it in the assembler, this should be our quest. And we can also add the magnesium to our boots here for the other quest, which apparently give us 2 Fortune 3 loot bags. That is well worth. Nope, that's not well worth. Oh, we do get one more for the jetpack though. I don't know why I'm excited for these things. They're almost always garbage, unless we get ender chests. Medium Sunnarium battery. Oh, and an ender pouch. Okay, that was a lot better. I'll take that any day. Oh, I guess we're going to need a way to charge the jetpack as well. Apparently normal Gregtech machines don't work. Actually, let's just test that theory. I don't think they work though. No. Oh, and of course this is the rest. Oh no. More components, more heat exchangers. Oh great. I guess we're going to need it though, so we may as well craft it. Okay, this should give us some way to charge our armor. I'm assuming this thing just swaps Gregtech energy with whatever this jetpack takes. I'm hoping that's the case anyway. Yeah, it looks like it. Alright. I guess the next step is the rocket. Okay, so I've been doing just a little bit of extra crafting for these fuel canisters and rocket fins. The rocket also takes a nose cone, which we can autocraft. We need 2 tier 2 heavy rocket engines, which are also requestable. Look at all this automation going to work. Oh, you can hear the machines as well. I missed a muffler upgrade somewhere. Alright, so once all those things are finished, we also need our lander tier 3. Somehow we got a lander tier 2 from one of the loot bags, so we just have to upgrade this to the tier 3 version. And then finally, I think we just need 4 tier 1 boosters, which does take a filled can of fuel. Do we have any fuel by any chance? No, and we no longer produce fuel. Do we have diesel? I wonder if this works. I think this should work, right? And the only fluid canner in our base is 1 for sodium potassium. So I guess we're going to reuse this for diesel. Fill the 4 canisters. Let's see if this craft works. Apparently it does accept it. Alright, nice. Yeah, we're just waiting on all this plate and finishing now. You know, one thing I don't remember is, do we have the schematic for this rocket? Yes, we do. Tier 4 rocket, awesome. It's been a while since we picked this thing up, actually. You know, I've been looking for this NASA bench for like the past 10 minutes, and it's tucked away in the corner here of our old base. Alright, let's unlock this tier 4 rocket schematic. And hopefully we didn't miss anything like the last time. Finally, we got our tier 4 rocket. Wow, this rocket is actually huge. Look at this thing. But we are not go for launch just yet. There's a few more other things I would like to prepare, such as our ability to seismic prospect a lot easier than having to use this EV scanner. Our need for prospecting is only going to increase from here, and I would like to be able to cut out this scanner, printer, and assembling machine combination to stop having to print out all the books. And we can do that with the use of the Prospector Scanner, unlocked here in LuV. Very expensive upgrade, but I think well worth it. So we need 2 iridium plates, we can do this no problem. 2 LV circuits, or LV circuits. I wish LV circuits. 2 LuV circuits, a computer monitor cover. We have all this automated. We have the sensor already. Yeah, we have the sensor. I think we also need the emitter. Let's see if we can autocraft one of these things. So that then leaves this drill tip on the top, which can be made of varying materials. And also the large Sunnarium battery, which is LuV tier. This is not the same one that we just got from the loot bag. Yeah, these medium Sunnarium batteries are only IV. So to make one at LuV, we're going to have to get into UU Matter production. We don't need a whole lot of it, but we do need at least some to get some Sunnarium dust, along with something called glowing coral. And that comes from the glowing earth coral, which we planted, I forget how many episodes back, but we did anticipate the need for this, and we have 60,000 of this glowing coral. Thank goodness we forward planned this. I'm not sure how long UU Matter itself takes though, so we need a mass fabricator. It looks like it's 160 seconds at LV for 1 litre of UU Matter, which honestly is not too bad, really. If we were to say build an IV mass fabricator for now, I think is the one that I looked at earlier on. Yeah, this is what we had to get the field generators for. Remember we had that Quantum Star and the HSS in the assembling machine. So if I'm not wrong, we should have 2 field generators at IV, which means we just need to put it together with some circuits. Wait, why do we have mainframes? We shouldn't have these. Oh, they must have came from a loot bag. That must be what it is. Alright, so from what I understand, this thing just makes UU Matter from power. Alright, so just as a super temporary location for this, I've plugged it in next to the Implosion Compressor, and I believe this takes a full amp of IV. And honestly, the speed isn't too bad at IV here. So this also has to go through the autoclave with a coral at IV tier. Do we have an IV autoclave? I feel like we don't have one of those things, which I didn't account for actually. Until now. There's an IV autoclave. Very easy to craft actually for us now. Yeah, we should be able to supply enough power to this here. And once we add the pattern for Sunnarium dust, it should mean that we can just auto-craft this stuff. At 375 seconds for every 4 dust though, it's gonna take a few minutes. More than a few minutes. Yeah, this autoclave is slow with this recipe, wow. So we're also going to need the battery hull to then infuse in the cannon machine, which has to be an EV, I didn't realise this. We're going to need an EV canner. In the assembling machine with polybenzimidazole, which we haven't looked at for a while. This was, I mean, we messed with this fluid for quite a while back before we had tier 3. But thankfully we do have some of it saved up here, which should be enough for us for this battery. And we also need 2 1x Naquada cables. So Naquada is the whole line here in IV, or no, LuV. Although apparently it's actually broken for us in this version of the game, so I'm kind of holding off waiting for an update so that we can progress through this tree. There is a fix coming, apparently. That doesn't mean that we can't get our hands on at least some Naquada. There is a very inefficient blast furnace recipe, similar to the way we got platinum the first time. So we can smelt some of this oxide mixture dust, which will give us nuggets. And then the nuggets, I'm assuming we just turn into the ingots, and we can use that from there. And I believe we actually only need 1 ingot of Naquada as well, so this may be a bit overkill, but we'll leave it all in there. We need Naquada for many, many other things coming up in LuV. And yeah, that leaves, I think, just the drill tip, which I think we're going to go with Ore Hurricane. There's a few different options of things we can go for here, but this is the thing we use for our rotor. It's a very, very durable material, and ideally we don't want to have to replace this thing too often, as, I mean, yeah, it is very expensive. We, I think, just need 4 plates of this material, and we're waiting on UU Matter, so yeah. Oh, that actually reminds me, there is one more thing that we have to consider here, and that is rocket fuel. We are down to our last 11 cells of LMP. And you may remember before we got to the void, this took me like a full day to make. And if we follow the chain down here, it's going to be like a lot of crafting. I think I'm going to do this between the episodes. But 11 cells should be able to get us to at least one of these planets. I mean, yeah, this chain just keeps going. After a little bit of patience, we got our empty large Sunnarium battery. We can also pick up the EV cannon machine. And while we wait on the last few recipes running in the autoclave, we need to go around and consolidate all of our miners. So I believe one we placed in the overworld. I think in this direction, yeah, 600 blocks this way. So we have currently 3 tier 2 multi-block miners. And I would quite like to get all 3 of them on the tier 4 planets, if possible. Which is still running, but I don't mind taking it off this vein. Our next destination is actually going to take us to Europa for the second miner. Kind of pains me to have to use the rocket fuel, but it has to be done. Here comes the bounce. Oh, I love this lander. It's so good. Wait a second, are we on the right planet here? Is this the right place? Where's our miner? Oh, it's that way. Okay. Ah, here it is, right here. I don't think this guy's finished either, but we're still going to grab it from here. Oh, and we got an infernal mob here to greet us. Wither and sprint. Oh, I missed. Goodbye. Yeah, this guy was grabbing a lot of Leducs for us, which, I mean, we no longer need Leducs. Okay, mission 2 successful for the miners. I think we do have to refuel this rocket at least with 1 more cell of LMP. We need to be super conservative with our fuel usage here. 1 more cell though should be at least enough to get us to Callisto, which is where our 3rd miner should be located. Here comes the bounce. Oh, that was nice. That was a good bounce. Here it is, awesome. It looks like it's still working away, no maintenance. Oh man, I do not miss all the mobs here that used to greet us every single day at our base. Oh, and look who it is as well. Look, it's him. Look who it is. There's 2 of them. You know what? Just because we can, let's pick up 2 more IV loot bags, which are enchanted. And we also get a choice of 2 LuV bags or 4 heavy duty plates. I don't know why you would ever pick this reward over the LuV bags. That seems completely not worth it. Let's see what we get. Oh, not bad, not bad. That offsets the cost of some of the new machines we built today. And we only have one LuV motor, so we're gonna only enchant one of these bags right now. Not great. Not great, honestly, not great. Before we take a trip to the new planet and place the miners again, I would like to set up a little alert system. This isn't going to be anything too complex, we are just going to use some fallout lights here, or really any light that can be powered by redstone. And behind them we have these wireless receivers, which we did test on the Discord, thank you Metis by the way. These can be powered cross-dimensionally. So each of these we're going to set to a different frequency, I think starting at 100. This one will be 101, and this one will be 102. And then when we place the miners on the other planets, we're going to add one of these activity detector covers, which will, I think, emit a redstone signal you can invert if the machine is also running. So in theory, if we hook this up to the transmitter, turn on the signal, this will light up if our miners are running on the other planets. And if they ever running out of fuel, mining pipe, or they just finish with their ore vein, the light will turn off and we know to go and collect that miner. We'll also need some way to tell which planet it's on as well, so I think we'll just drop a little sign above. We don't have too many fancy tools to label these things, I don't think. But yeah, hopefully the system should work quite well if we chunk load both areas. I think we're just waiting on Sunnarium dust though, still. It turns out this recipe actually is only a 50% chance. I was wondering why it took so long, like it's been a good while since I set this thing up. We need like 8 more, so 2 more crafts. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to have to craft some more storage disks for our subnet for ore processing, as these things are filling up quite quickly and I used the disks for something else that I pre-crafted earlier on. This subnet is getting quite full here, which is a good sign to see. It just means that we have to upgrade the storage. And I also noticed while all 3 miners were running constantly, we were not able to keep up with some of these steps. Specifically the ore processing plant and also the centrifuge was the bottlenecks. And all of these multis are all running at EV tier, which I think honestly at this point we can improve, we can increase the power on these things. The only thing I'm concerned about is the amperage, so we're going to be taking amps away from our base if we try to power this with IV or LuV. And this 16 amp LuV line can only power so many cables and transformers at once, of which we have quite a few dotted around the base, especially towards this side actually. This side underneath the blast furnace is one of the most high power areas of our base. So I think what we want to do here is split up some of these amps, and we'll have another power transformer, ideally another 2 power transformers, and we'll run separate 16 amp VG cables. And we'll probably split it right here as well, so we can have one going this way dedicated to all the assembly lines. We'll have one which goes all the way down to the end, which you can't see because of smog. It's actually gotten worse now because these engines have been on for a while. Yeah, one going that way, and then one more VG cable going this way. That is going to take a lot of tungsten though, tungsten which we do not have at the moment, so I've started cooking up some of the tungsten. Oh, maybe already finished. Let's maybe go start another batch, but yeah. I don't think we have the resources for the other dynamo hatch or transformers yet, but that's definitely something we want to look into as we're going to have to upgrade this ore processing system. But first, the AE storage disks. So I'm curious, can we get like 24 of these things? Oh, we can, nice. Oh, this was unthinkable a few weeks ago. Oh, finally, the Sunnarium dust decided to show up here. Loud machine. There is our large LuV Sunnarium battery. Huge capacity on this thing. Oh no, the wireless charger started charging it. Hopefully that doesn't mess with the recipe. That's right, I don't know if I showed this before, but I made this wireless charger, which has a 24.8 meter radius, and this just wirelessly charges up all of our armor, so no more charging tools or armor anymore, which can sometimes be a problem if you have to craft things with charge in them, but we haven't run into any issues yet. Let's see if this works. I believe we got the rest of the items crafted already, which means we can pick up our electric prospector scanner. Wait, let's check the quest. Always check the quest. Okay, just wants the finished item. Okay. Electric prospector scanner. Nice. So last thing while the scanner is charging here, it's going to take a little while in this assembly machine. Oh, and that's some nice rewards for this. Thank you game. Technician coins. I was considering where we actually want to go with this rocket, and originally I had Venus on our sights to go and pick up some of the titanium ore. We also get Naquada and Quantium. Quantium is similar to the Ledix and Callisto ice, which we have to craft the next tier of heavy plating with. But honestly, I'm reconsidering going to IO instead. This thing can give us infused gold, and infused gold can also be made into fluxed electrum. There is also a centrifuge recipe with mercury to turn it into Salus Mundus, and Salus we can turn it into nether stars, so this is much easier than having to go and kill the wither, which I had to do, I don't know, like 20 times this episode, which I ended up just cutting that out because we've seen that a million times anyway. The other option at tier 4 is actually mercury for deep iron, so that we can get trinium. I don't know exactly what trinium is used for. I know that it's a good material for tools and things, but Other than that, I'm not sure. I think we do need it for something or other. But you know what? This episode's getting a little bit lengthy today, so I think we're going to wrap things up here. I do apologise for how long this took, but yeah, keeping pace on these episodes is getting more and more difficult as we progress through the tiers. We are making progress though, slowly. But yeah, we're going to wrap this one up here. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all soon for some more Gregtech New Horizons.